Hey everyone, welcome back to my Dev Web App channel. Today I'll build a Next.js application following the app router tutorial from the Next.js Learn docs. So I opened Next.js Learn and now I'm going to start learning, and as you can see I'll follow app router tutorial, and we have some introduction, and here we need to check that we have Node.js. You can open the terminal and check Node version. Okay, I have 22, and now I can get started. And as you can see, now we need to install globally pnpm, and I have it. If you don't have pnpm, you can just copy this command and run it in terminal, and I'll just create the next app and will run command in my terminal. And, let's check what next. And next we can explore the project and folder structure, and we'll check it later. And also we have some placeholders, and let's check what I have. And I'm going to proceed with this installation, and let's wait. Okay, and we have our application, and we can check the structure. We have app, lib. Inside the lib, we have some code, and also we have page. Okay, and let's check what next. And we export it, and we have some invoice inside app lib. Let's check. I'm going to open app lib, and app lib definitions. Okay, and we have some user, customer, and also invoice types and some other types. Okay, but let's move on. And now let me go to the project with cd command, and I'm going to open a new window in new Visual Studio Code window. Okay, and I have only one my project here, and now we can install dependencies. I'm going to open terminal here in new window and install dependencies. And let's check what we have next. And next we can run dev server after dependencies installed. And I'll pass the command and run my dev server. And as you can see, we're using Next version 15, and I can start a localhost and check. Okay, and I have my application running locally. And, that's something like in my docs, and I can go to the next chapter, CSS styling. Okay, and let's add some styles, and I'm going to open app layout. Let me hide this panel and open app layout, and let's check. And we can import global styles. Okay, let me do it. And let's check what we have inside global styles from app UI, and we have global CSS here. And as you can see, they have Tailwind here. Probably they have it in package.json. And let's check dependencies. And as you can see, we have Tailwind version 3 here. Okay. And let's go back to our global CSS and also check our docs. And first of all, let's refresh our server, our development server. And as you can see, we have styles added. Okay, and we saw that we have Tailwind here, and they added these directives. Okay, and with Tailwind we can add styles directly in our React code or JavaScript code, and you can check this doc. And also they use CSS modules. Let's check. Okay, and I don't see any CSS modules. Okay, they just propose to use CSS modules, but we'll go with Tailwind. And let's check what we can do next. And inside invoices status SX, we can add this code. And let me probably find this code with search. Okay, and we need status. Okay, and they've added some code. And as you can see, we have this styles, and let's check. We probably need to change something. And we have exactly the same styles. Okay, and status. Let me paste it. Okay, and they just propose to explore it. And we can go next to the next chapter, optimizing fonts and images. Okay, and let's add primary font. And we need to create fonts file inside app UI. Okay, and I'm going to create new file in this folder. And let's check. And I'll just copy this code and provide it here. Okay. And let's go next. And next, we need to add our font to layout. And we have our layout inside app and layout. Okay, import. And then add it to body. Okay, let me save and check and refresh. And they suggest to open DevTools, and let me do it. And let me change it. Can close this and check body. And as you can see, we have some class, and we have this class with inter, and as they described. Okay, and now we can add a secondary font, and I'll just reveal solution. And we need to add this export side our fonts. Okay, and probably we also need to add import. Okay, and let's check. And now we can import our font in page. Okay, inside page. Okay, we can import it, and we'll add one paragraph. And we need to change this paragraph by adding class name. And let's check. And probably we have some font here. And as you can see, we have Lusitana font here. Okay, now let's uncomment this logo, and we have it here, and I'm going to uncomment and save, and let's check. And as you can see, we have logo here. Okay, and let's move on. And then they described why you need to use Next.js image component instead of image HTML tag, and you can check. But as you can see, we can resizing, use less loading, preventing layout shift, and also use modern formats. And let's add image. And inside our app page, I'm going to import image component from next image. Okay, and inside our page, let's do it. And now we can add image. After add here images here. Okay, and we can add image here. And let's check. And as you can see, we have some image. Okay, and let's go next. And they propose to check the home page, and we checked. We can hide this. And next, they propose to add mobile hero image. And let's check mobile version. I'm going to change to mobile and select some mobile. And as you can see, for mobile, we don't have image because inside image component, we have this class name that hides image in mobile. Okay, and we need to add image for mobile devices. And I'll just add this image. Let me save it and check. And now, as you can see, we have image on mobile devices. And I can go to the desktop version. Okay, and now I can go next. You can check all these links, but I'll go to next chapter, chapter 4, creating layouts and pages. Now we can create layouts and pages. You can read about routing in Next.js, but let's create some dashboard. And you can find this. And inside app, I'll create new folder, dashboard. And inside this folder, I'll create page. And I'll add new page. And I will provide this code. Okay, let's check next. And next we can open localhost dashboard. And as you can see, we have dashboard page. Now they propose to practice creating more routes. And inside dashboard, I'll create customers page. And we need to create it inside dashboard. And okay, customers. And I'll just copy this page and add it here. And we'll change to customers. Okay, and let's check. And also we need invoices page. Okay, inside dashboard, I'll create new folder for invoices. And in that folder, I'll also copy page and provide it here, and I'll change to invoices and save. And let's check. We can close this, and we have dashboard page, and we can check customers. And as you can see, we have customers, and also we added invoices. And we have invoices. Okay, good. And now we can create the dashboard layout. And for that, I'll create layout file inside dashboard. Okay. And we'll just copy this code. Okay, and save. Now let's check. And as you can see, I have some layout for invoices page. And let's go to home. And as you can see, we have dashboard page, and also invoices page, and also customers page. And all pages have the same layout because we placed them inside dashboard and added layout to dashboard, and our customers and invoices routes use this layout. Okay, and they probably explain all this here. And also for route layout, we added font in previous step, and we can go to the next. Okay, and chapter 5, navigating between pages. Okay, and you can check why using link component is better than a HTML element, and we'll add a link Next.js component to our application. And inside dashboard nav links UI Okay, and let me check UI dashboard, and we have this component, and we'll add links here, and I'll just copy this and provide this import here, and let's replace a tag with link. Okay, and we'll provide a link instead of a tag and save. And let's check. I'm going to refresh and check. And as you can see, we have invoices, customers, dashboard pages, and we don't have reload as with a tag. Okay, and let's go next to pattern shown active links. Okay, and in dashboard, I'll add path name. It's probably some hook from next navigation. And we can use this path name inside our nav links component. Okay, and let's check in, and now we will add this classes, I believe. Okay, and we'll add it for link. Okay, and let me change link. Okay, and we probably need to remove existing class name. Let me do it. Okay, I'm going to save and check our local host. Okay, and we have error. And the error tells us that we can use this use path name hook only in client component, and we probably missed something. Okay, and I haven't added use client to our component, and now I'm going to fix this, and it will be client component. By default, we have server component. Okay, and now let's check. Okay, and we have invoices page, and as you can see, current page is active, and I can go to home, and now home is active, and also can go to customers. Okay, and our navigation works, and also active links work, and let's see. Okay, and we've completed the first part of our application, and we have chapter 6, setting up database. And I'm going to push my project to GitHub and set up a Vercel account and link my GitHub repo. And first of all, I need to open GitHub account. And if you don't have an GitHub account, you can create one. And then I'm going to create a new repository and provide repository name like Next.js dashboard. And I'll make it public and press create repository. Okay, and our repository was created, and we have some comments, and I'm going to copy this comment and open my project in Visual Studio Code, and now I'm going to open new terminal and provide my command, and also I'll create main branch. Okay, and let's add commit git add and provide commit git commit and provide message add dashboard pages and layout. Okay, and now we can push our changes to GitHub and git push. And okay, now we can check. I'm going to open my project, and as you can see, we have our code, and we check our files on GitHub, and let's check that we have dashboard and customers invoices. Okay, looks good so far, and I can close my local host, and now we can create a Vercel account, and actually I have one, and if you don't have Vercel account, you need to create one, and okay, and I have Next.js dashboard, and I can press import, and I'll leave project name as Next.js dashboard, and now I can press deploy. Okay, and let's wait, and our deployment started, and we need to wait a bit. And the deployment was successful, and now I can go to dashboard and check my project. And as you can see, we have links, and I can open it and check it on Next.js dashboard address. And as you can see, I have this URL. Okay, and now we have dashboard, and also we can go to invoices and return to main page. And also we can check another URL. Okay, and deployment was successful. And we can check docs. And okay, we saw the same image as here. And the next point is create a Postgres database. And we need a Vercel account, and I created one in previous video. You can watch it. And now we need to go to storage and create new database. And I'll select Neon. And now I can continue. And let's check options. We need to provide database name and region and can create. Okay, and let me choose region, and I'll leave recommended. Okay, and now I can press continue. And now we can provide name, and let me add like Next.js dashboard, and we'll press create. Okay, and our database was created. And let's check what we have next. And next we can connect. Our database was connected, and let's check what we have next. And now we can open env local and copy secret. And you need to show secret and then copy it to env local and rename env example to env. Okay, and now I'll pause the video and make all these actions in order not to show my secret, and you can follow and make the same. Okay, I created env file, and let's check git ignore, and we have env file and env local in git ignore. Okay, and let's see what we have next, and next we can see our database. And my application is running locally. I started dev server, and I can go to localhost seed, and let's wait. Okay, let's check, and we have message database seed successfully. Okay, and I can go back, and let's see what we have next. And next we have executing queries. They propose to go query route and uncomment the code, and let's do it. I'm going to open this file and uncomment this code, remove all this message, and remove and uncomment here. Okay, and let's check. And now we can go to localhost and check. And we have some amount and name, and our request was successful. And let's check. And next we have paging data, and chapter 7 paging data. And here they propose to investigate some approaches to how to fetch data, like API layer, database queries, server components to fetch data, QL, and you can use some ORM, but they are using Postgres.js, and they propose to look at this code, and let's check it. And we have import, and also they create an SQL const using this Postgres import. Okay, and let's go next. Now we can fetch data for the dashboard overview page, and we can open dashboard page, and they propose to pass this code. Okay, and let's check what next. They intentionally commented out the code, and now we need to add some code, and we are going to add page revenue and using import. Okay, and also we need add this function to the page here. Okay, and let's see next. And next we need to uncomment this chart component, revenue chart component. Okay, here let's uncomment it and check what next. And next we can go to dashboard revenue chart and uncomment the code inside it. Okay, and I opened it, and we need to uncomment the code. Okay, here probably, and also here. I'll remove this comments, and let's check. And now we can go to localhost and probably dashboard. Okay, and we don't have anything here. And let's check our component, and, our page. And I added this code to customers, and I need to add it to dashboard page. Okay, and remove from customers. Okay, and let's check again. And as you can see, we have recent revenue on our page. Okay, and we saw this image, and let's move on. Fetching data for latest invoices. And for latest invoices, we need to get the latest 5 invoices sorted by date. Okay, and inside uplib data, we have this function, and let's check it. Data, where is it? Inside uplib data, and we have fetch latest invoices. And as you can see, we have SQL query, and then they just run it and return latest invoices, adding some format currency. Okay, and let's add it to our dashboard. I'm going to add this import, and we'll add it here. And also we need to add latest invoices constant. Okay, and let's check, and then uncomment component. Okay, and we can uncomment component, and let's check. Okay, and we can check our dashboard, and as you can see, we have our latest invoices and something updated just now. And let's check. Probably we forgot to uncomment something. Yeah, we need to uncomment code in latest invoices component. Okay, and I believe it's here, and we can uncomment this code, and here. Let's check. Okay, and go to dashboard, and as you can see, we have our component here. And let's move on. And now we need to practice fetch data for the card components. They explain how to do it, and let's try to do it. And we need our data, and inside lib we have data, and I believe we need to import this page card data function inside our dashboard page. And let's check. And this function returns some object. Let's add this data to our component as well using const and assign to page card data. And we need to call function and add await. Okay, and let's uncomment this cards. Oh, I need to do it here. Okay, okay, and here, and also here. Okay, and let's check. And we have our card. And as you can see, we have collected, pending, total invoice, total customers. Okay, and we can check the solution, and we did the same. And we saw this image. And here they described request waterfalls, and you can check parallel data fetching inside fetch card data. Okay, and let's check it. And as you can see, they have promise all to fetch 3 requests. Okay, and you can read all this documentation, and I'm going to move on. And we have chapter 8, static and dynamic rendering. You can read about static rendering, about dynamic rendering, and let's try to simulate a slow data fetch. Okay, and I'm going to go to fetch revenue and add some delay. Okay, and we need to go to page revenue and just uncomment this code. Okay, and also here. Okay, and let's check. Now we can go to dashboard. I'm going to refresh my dashboard, and let's see what we have. And as you can see, we have slow loading, and we can probably open console and clear it and refresh again. And let's wait. And as you can see, we have page and revenue data, and only after that we have data fetch completed after 3 seconds, and we have a loading page here. And now we can go to the next chapter, and chapter 9, streaming. Okay, and you can read about what is streaming, and now I'm going to add a loading TypeScript component inside app dashboard. Let's do it. Inside dashboard, I need a new file, a loading, and let me provide the code. Okay, and we can close this console, and as you can see, we have a loading here, and after 3 seconds, we have our dashboard data. They provided the same image as we saw, and also explain what happened. And now we can add a loading skeleton, and let me copy this code and add it here. Okay, and also here inside loading. Okay, and let's try to refresh. And as you can see, we can see some skeleton. And let's check this component. As you can see, they added some skeletons with empty data, I believe. Okay, and let's go to the next. Now we need to fix the loading skeleton because it will apply to the invoices page as well, and we need to create a new folder overview inside dashboard. Okay, inside dashboard, I'm going to create new folder overview and move our loading and page loading, move, and also our page here. Okay, yes, and let's see. Okay, let's check. I'm going to refresh, and as you can see, we have this skeleton, and now we can go to streaming our component, and they propose to remove revenue Okay, inside page, we can remove this and also here. And let's check next. And now we can add suspense and some chart skeleton, and let's try to do it. Okay, and also here. And before latest invoices, and I have error. Let's check. Okay, and we need to update revenue chart. Okay, and I'm going to do it here, and we need to add import here, and also add code to our chart. Okay, and let's add it here, and we probably need to remove from props. Okay, and we'll remove, and let's check. And now we can refresh our page, and let's see. And as you can see, we have loading only for revenue component. Okay, and we saw this image, and they propose to practice streaming latest invoices. I'll just reveal the solution, and we need to remove this latest invoices and add this suspense here. Okay, and let's do it. Side page, we need to add it here, and modify latest invoices by removing this, and we'll add it to latest invoices here, and we need to remove props. Okay, and also add import here. Okay, and we can remove this types, and let's go here, and we need to import this skeleton here. Okay, and I'll just add it here, and we can remove page latest invoices. Okay, and let's check we did this, and let me refresh the page, and as you can see, we have loading this, but we haven't added 3 seconds, and it was pretty fast, but we can see this skeleton. Now we need to do the same for cart, and let's do it. Inside cart, I'll add cart wrapper, and after dashboard. Okay, and I'll add it here, and we need to add import, and we'll add import, and also we need to add cart skeleton, and we'll add it here. Okay, and let's move on, and inside dashboard cards we need to import this card data, dashboard cards, page card data, and call this function inside card wrapper. Okay, and now we can refresh the page, and going to refresh, and as you can see we have card skeleton, but we don't have card. Let's check. Okay, we need to check the code, and we need to uncomment this component. Okay, and let's try again. Refresh, and we saw a loading dashboard, and now we have data. You can read about the explanation, deciding where to place your suspense boundaries, but I'm going to move on to the next chapter. Chapter 10, Partial Pre-rendering. And this chapter contains a lot of theoretical materials about static versus dynamic routes and what is partial pre-rendering. You can read all this information and how does partial pre-rendering work. And now implementing partial pre-rendering, and I'll just add this configuration to next config, and let me find that file. Next config can hide. Okay, and we can add options here, and we'll add it inside our config. And now inside our dashboard layout, we'll add this const dashboard, and we need layout, and we'll add const below site nav. Okay, let's check, and I see some error, and let's check, and we have a message that the experimental feature can only be enabled when using the latest Canary version. Okay, and I'll just remove it. I'm not going to add this Canary version, and I'll just remove. Okay, and you can read a summary, and I'll just move on to the next chapter. Chapter 11, adding search and pagination. So, and let's check what we have. And now we can learn how to use Next.js APIs for use search params, use path name, and use router. Okay, and inside dashboard invoices, I can add this code, and let me add it to invoices page and save. Let's see what we have here, and here we have search component, also pagination component, and it's commented out now, and also we have table for displaying results. Okay, and now we are going to use search params, and you can read the docs. Also, you can read about search functionality and about use search params, use path name, use router. And let's go to our search component, and we'll add some code. Let me find it. Okay, and we have it here. And as you can see, we use client here for client code, and that will allow us to add on change to input, and also use some client hooks. Okay, and let's check what we have. And as you can see, we can add handle search to our component in just a function, and also we can add event handler to on change to input. Okay, and by changing the values, we'll call this handle search, and it will just show our term inside console. Okay, and probably we can try it. I'm going to open invoices, and let's inspect and open console and provide some data. And as you can see, we have data in console. Okay, we've verified it, and now we can add our search to query params. Okay, and let's do it. We are going to use hook from next navigation. Okay, and inside our search component file, I'll add this import, and then we can use our hook. Okay, and also we'll use it inside handle search function, and we'll get params using this function from JavaScript. And as you can see, it's a web API that provides utility methods for manipulation the URL. Okay, and also we can add this code below our params. Okay, now we can use hooks, use router, and use path name, and add it to our params. Okay, and let's do it. And I'm going to copy this code and paste it here. And now we can replace use this replace. Let me see. Okay, and I'll add it here. And I think we can remove this console log. And now let's check. I'm going to refresh this page and provide some. Okay, we have issue. I believe we can ignore it for now. Okay, and it's gone. And let's provide some search param. And as you can see, inside address or URL, we have query, and it equals to our input from our input. And I can add more values. And as you can see, when I'm adding letters here, our query is changing. Okay, and I can remove it and go back to docs. And we need to add default value here. And let's do it. And I'll add it to input. Okay, and let's check what we have next. And next, we can update the table inside invoices page. And let's do it inside invoices page. Let's add this code. And also we can add suspense. And we have it here. We can just uncomment. And we need this data to display our invoices. And as you can see, we have search params here, also query and current page. And then we'll provide this data to invoice table. And inside invoice table, we have some filtered invoices. And this is data from an API. As you can see, we have SQL code here, and they just executing it using SQL from a library, and then provide invoices as a result. Okay, and I will just use it, and let me save all this file, and let's check what we have next. And we checked this code, and let's try it. As you can see, we have some invoices, and I can actually close this console log, and let me try to provide some name. Okay, and let's check. And as you can see, we have 3 invoices here, and I can provide some other name. And as you can see, it found 2 invoices. Okay, and let's go back to docs. Now they propose to add debouncing, and let's see what is it. And we can add console log to our handle search inside search component. Okay, and let me add console log. And now let's open our developer tools and refresh the page. And we can provide some values like, okay, and as you can see, we have searching, and for every value we have some console log, and they propose to add some library to debounce. Actually, you can write your own function, but let's add some library. I'm going to add new terminal and add new library with installing. Okay, and now we can use hook use debounce at callback from our use debounce. I can hide my console and inside search. And also we'll add this handle search, and we'll make it const, and also we'll add some timeout here. Let's try to run it, and let me remove all this input and try it again. And so I probably need to add increase timeout, and let's try now. Okay, and as you can see, I have only one searching console log, and only one request was sent to the server instead of 5 as previously, and that would be good performance optimization. And let's go back to the docs and check. And now we can add pagination, and inside page we can fetch invoices. Let me copy it And I'm going to return initial timeout here, and inside page I'll provide this code before my export, and inside function I'll add total pages. Okay, and we can check this function, and as you can see, it's also an SQL query, and then we'll return total pages. Okay, and let's go next. Next, we have pagination component, and now we can uncommit it in our invoices page. And let's check what we have inside. And I believe we need to uncommit here, but let's check docs. And first of all, we need to add hooks from next navigation. Okay, I'll add it here. And also we need to add variables. Okay, and I'll add it here. And also we need to add create page URL function inside our pagination component. Okay, and I believe now we can uncommit our code. And let me do it. And I'll remove this commented code. And we need this. Okay, and now let's check. And inside search, we need to set page to 1. And let's do it. And I need to do it after params. Okay, and now let's check our functionality. I can close console, and let me refresh the page. And as you can see, we have pagination, and I can go to the next, and also can use these arrows to navigate between pages. And let's check our search functionality, and we have some invoices, and also we can check our search by amount. And as you can see, amount was provided. And also we can use date or email at. And as you can see, we can search by email. And let's go back to the docs, and we have some summary, and we can go to the next chapter, chapter 12, mutating data. Okay, and you can read about server actions, and you can find some example, and I'll go next, and we have create a new route and form. And let's create inside invoices folder a new route called create. Okay, and let's go to invoices, and I'll add new folder create, and inside this folder I'll add page TypeScript component file. Okay, and now let's add some code. I'll just copy this code, and let's check what we have. And we have some breadcrumbs component and also form. And I believe they added code for form component. It has a label, select, some options, and also input, and also one more input. Okay, and let's go back, and now let's check. Okay, and we can go to our route and check what we have inside create. And as you can see, we have form to choose customer. We can choose some customer, provide some amount, and also provide status. And I believe create invoice will not work for now. And let's check. Okay, we saw this page, and now they propose to create a server action. Okay, and inside lib, we'll add actions TypeScript file. Okay, and let me go to lib and create new actions file, and I'll copy this code here, and let's see. And inside invoices create form, I'll copy my empty function for now. Okay, and let's do it. Okay, and we're going to use this create invoice for form action. Okay, and let's add action to our form. And what we have next? And next we'll add our function, modify it, create invoice, and let me copy it and provide it here. And as you can see, we have some form data that we retrieved from form data object, I believe, and then we just provided it to console. And now they propose to check. Okay, and let's open terminal and check our code, what we have inside console. And for that, I'm going to select customer, provide some value, and add some status, and press create invoice. And let's check terminal. And as you can see, we have customer ID, amount 20, and I provided status pending. Everything works as expected. And let's check what we have next. And next we have validate and prepare the data. They propose to check invoice type, and also we need some validation, and for that they propose to use that. Okay, and let's add it to our actions. I'll just copy this code. I can hide my terminal, and inside actions, I'll add this import. And also, as you can see, we have form schema, and we defined our fields similar like we have in TypeScript, but using that. Okay, and now we can add this line for creating amount. Okay, and let me do it. And instead of raw data, we are going to use our fields. Okay, and now let's add this line for amount. Okay, and I need to remove this. Okay, and I need to fix, I believe, here. Okay, and let's go next. And also we can add date. Okay, and let's check what next. And now we can use our Postgres. Okay, and also create SQL. Okay, and now we can insert new record into invoices table, and they are using SQL request for that with customer, amount, status, and date. Okay, and next we have revalidate and redirect. Okay, and here we need to copy this function from next cache. Okay, and let's do it. And we'll revalidate path for dashboard invoices. I believe it's something for cache. You can read the docs. And also we can add redirect from next navigation. And let's add redirect to dashboard invoices. Okay, let me add it here. And let's check what we have so far. I'm going to go to invoices and create new invoice. And let me select a customer, provide amount, and select pending. And now I'm going to press create invoice, and let's see. And as you can see, our invoice is here inside invoices table. And I have this customer and amount 30 and also status pending. Okay, and everything is working as expected. And now we can update an invoice. And for that, we are going to create a dynamic route segment with the invoice ID. And inside invoices folder, we need to create folder with ID. And let's do it. Inside invoices, I'm going to add folder with ID. And then add edit. Okay, and I need a new folder, and inside that folder I'll add page file. Okay, and we have something similar like this. And now they propose to check our table component inside the table TypeScript. Okay, and let's check. I'm going to find it. And we have update invoice here and also here. And now let's see what we have next. And next, they propose to update invoice inside buttons. Okay, so let me find this buttons and check what we have here. And we need to add this code inside a link inside update invoice. Okay, and we need something like that. Okay, and we updated our href, and now we can read the invoice ID from page params. And for that, we are going to add this code to our edit page for ID, and I have it here, and I'm going to add this here, and also we have breadcrumbs component and also form component. And let's go next. And now we can add this export for page. Okay, and let me do it. We added export. Oh, I probably we need just to change, not add here, and also we need params and ID here, and I can remove this. Okay, and now it looks good. And now we can fetch the specific invoice. And inside our edit page, we are going to fetch invoice using promise all and calling this function. And we need to import it from our data. Okay. And as you can see, we're using promise all to call in parallel fetch invoice by ID and fetch customers. And then we will have invoice in invoice variable and customers in customers. Okay. And now they propose to visit invoices table and click on the pencil icon to edit an invoice. Okay, and I have this opened, and let's edit invoice that we've created recently. Okay, and I press pencil, and let's change amount to 25. And now we can edit, and let's see. And we have some issue. Okay, and we need to implement our code further, and let's check ID. And as you can see, we have ID here, and then edit, and that looks good. And now we need to pass the ID to the server action, and we need to update edit form, and let me find it. Okay, and I have edit form, and I'll need to import update invoice from actions, and also I need to use this update invoice here after edit invoice form. Okay, and I'll need to add it here, and also we need to update form. Let's see what we have now, and we'll update form by adding our action. Okay, and let me save it, and let's check what we have next. And then in actions, we need to create a new action, update invoice, and let me copy this and provide it inside our actions. So we have some error here, and it tells me that I don't have update invoice. Okay, and we're going to add it right now. Okay, and I can remove this. And now we don't have this error anymore. And now let's check what we have. And let's try to edit our invoice and press the button, and let's see what we have. And as you can see, our invoice was changed. And also we can try one more time and change status to paid. Okay, and that's working. And let's go next. And the next we have delete invoice. And inside buttons, let me find the buttons. Okay, and I can import delete invoice. Okay, here, and also paste it here inside delete invoice, and also update form by adding action. And we don't have form here, and let's add form and close form. Okay, and now we can add delete invoice inside actions, and let's do it. Okay, and I'm going to just add this code. Okay, and now let's try to delete our invoice. I'm going to press this delete, and as you can see, we don't have our invoice anymore. And let's test our functionality one more time. I'm going to create an invoice and provide some value and padding. And now I can create. And now let me edit the invoice by changing amount and status. And okay, and it was changed. And now I can remove this invoice by pressing this delete button. And as you can see, we don't have this invoice anymore. And let's go next to the next chapter. Chapter 13, handling errors. Okay, and now we can add try catch to our server actions. And let's just copy this code. And inside create invoice, let's add try here, and then we need to add catch. Okay, and we'll add catch here. And also we'll need to add it for update invoice. Okay, and let's do it. And let's check. Try and catch also will be here. Okay, we added error handling for our create and update invoice functions. And now let's throw error to delete button and check what would we have. Okay, and on the invoices page, I'm going to try to delete some invoice. And as you can see, we have error. And they propose to handling all errors with error.tsx file. And inside invoices, let's create this file. And I'm going to add new file. And let's just copy this code and save. Okay, and now let's try again. And let's remove some invoice. And as you can see, now we have our error page. And if we check the code, we'll see H2 tag with text something went wrong, and also try again button. And that's what we saw here. Okay, and they described what we have here, and also we saw this image. And the next step is handling 404 errors with the not found function. And let's try to go to this link. And we don't have this ID in database, and we have the same error as previously. But we can add more custom error handling for all 4 errors. Okay, and they propose to check our data that we have invoice, and let's do it. Inside lib data, I'm going to try to find this, and inside fetch invoice by ID, and let me find this function. Okay, fetch invoice by ID. We have invoice 0. Invoice is an array, and we are returning the first item element of the array. Okay, and now let's check if we don't have invoice. We are going to add not found. and that would be inside our edit page. And let me add this import, and also check if we don't have invoice, then we'll return not found. Okay, and also we need to add not found file inside edit folder. Okay, and let's do it. And to have TypeScript component, and I'll just copy this code. And as you can see, we have h2 text with some icon, and also paragraph with text and some link to go back. Okay, and let me save it. We should see this not found page. Okay, and I have this page, and I probably can go back, and it returned me to my invoices. And that's all for this chapter. You can check these links, but I'm going to move to the next chapter. Chapter 14, Improving Accessibility. Okay, and you can read about accessibility, and let's try to add a link inside our package JSON, and I'll add it here. And now I can start new terminal and run my lint command with npm lint. Okay, and let's see what we have. And let's try base. Okay, and they propose to run it again. And let's see what we have inside it. And while it's running, we just run this command, and they suppose that we don't have any warnings, and we actually don't have any ESLint warnings or errors. And now inside table, let me find this file. Okay, and I need my terminal. Inside file for image, let's remove alt attribute and run lint again. And we did that, and we probably will see some warning. Okay, and as you can see, we have a warning that image element must have an alt prop, and I'm going to return my alt prop, and let me clear console and run my lint again. And here I will go next, and you can read about semantic HTML, labeling, focus outline. Okay, and let's check, and we actually don't have any warnings and errors again, and I can remove this console and close this terminal, and let me close this. And the next we have form validation, and inside create form we can add required, and let's try do it. Inside create form, and for amount let's add required. Okay, and I'll add it here. And now let's try to go to our invoices. Okay. And inside this, let's create invoice. And now I'm going to press create invoice. And as you can see, we have browser validation and text, please fill out this field. Okay, and that was client-side validation, and also we can add server-side validation. And for that, we are going to modify create form, and let me find it. And actually, I have it opened, and they propose to use client here. Okay, let's do it. And let's see what next. And now we can import use action state from React. Okay, let's do it. And what next? Now we can modify our form by adding this code and inside function form. Let me add this code. Okay, and here I can remove this return, and also here, and Okay, and probably I can save. And we don't have initial state, and here we can define it. Okay, and provide it here. Now we don't have state, and for that we need to modify actions, file actions, and let me find it. Okay, and we need to change our form schema from Zot. Okay, and I'm going to just replace it here. And now inside actions, we can export our state and add state to create invoice. Okay, and we have it here. And let me do it here. Okay, and let's check what we have next. And now inside create invoice, we can validate fields and provide here this code. Okay, and we have errors here, and let's check the code further. And they propose to check validate fields, and I'm going just copy the whole create invoice function and add it to my code. Okay, and we don't have errors anymore, and let's check what next. And next we need to change create form, and let's do it. And now we can provide area described by inside our select. And let's find our select, and here we'll provide area described by, and here we can add our div with ID customer errors, and we have it here. And let's do it after select, and I believe after div. Okay, and we can add it here. Okay, and we don't have this state, and probably we need to import it. Okay, import was added, and let's go further, and you can check the explanation, but now let's try. Okay, I'm going to create invoice, and as you can see, we have our, please fill out our form. And now I'm going to create invoice, and now we have this server validation with please select a customer. And they propose to practice and adding area labels. You can try it and reveal the solution, but I'm not going to do it now, and I'll just move on to the next chapter. Chapter 15, adding authentication. Okay, you can read about what is authentication, and I'll go forward and create the login route. Okay, and I need to create a new folder inside my app, and it will be login, and also I'll create page for my login route, and we'll just provide this code. And as you can see, they prepared some login form, and also added suspense here. Okay, and let's see what we have next. And now we can install NextAuth package, and let me do it. And I'm going to stop my terminal and add package. Okay, and next we need to create our key, and for using this authentication, and you can just run this command or visit this address, and then you need to provide out secret that was generated. Okay, and I'm not going to share it, and will stop the video and do it privately. Okay, and I added my secret to an file and launched my dev server. And now we need to create our config file in the root, and let's just add it here. And now copy this code, and as you can see, we have some config, and also we can add callbacks here to our authorization. And I'm going to copy paste this code and provide it here. Okay, and as you can see, we have pages sign in, and it would be login, and also callbacks. Then we will redirect if user is not logged in. And you can read in details about that. Okay, and next we need to create middleware. And I'm going to add new file and copy the code. Okay, and as you can see, we have pretty simple file, and we're importing our house config, and also we're using next house here. Okay, and now we can add password hashing inside our house file, and I'll just copy all this code with credentials. And first of all, I need to create new file, and let's do it. And now we can copy this code with credentials. Okay, and let's see what we have next. And now we can add that here, and add checking for credentials. Okay, and let me copy this and paste it here. And let's check what we have next. And here we can add SQL query to select users with email, and then probably check email and password. I'm going to just copy the whole file and replace it in my code. Okay, and now we can add checks for password, that password match, and as you can see, they're using bcrypt probably, and I need to add it here, and also I need to return user if passwords match. Okay, and let's add this console log just in case. Okay, and let's move on, and here we have file actions. Let me open this file, actions, and we need to provide action authenticate, and let me do it. Okay, and I'll add it to the end. Also, we would need some imports about sign in and errors. I'm going to add it here, and as you can see, we're using our sign in from our recently created auth file. Okay, let's move on. Now we can update login form. Let me find it. Login form by adding use client at the top. It will be our client component. Okay, here we can add imports. And also we'll use this use action state and search params. And, I'm going to update login form. And here we need to provide action to our form. Also, we can add hidden input field and add area label to button, and Let's do it. Okay, let's check what next. Next, we can add error message. Okay, and we have comment here. So I'm going to add error message. Okay, now we can add the logout functionality. For that, I'm going to open site-nav file and import out our sign out from outs that I've created recently. Okay, and for form, we can just add action. Now we can try it out. I'm going to load my initial page and press login. And as you can see, I have a login form and I can provide some address and try to log in, and we have some validation. Let me try test.com, and then I need to provide some password, and let's wait. Now I got error invalid credentials. Okay, and I can use valid credentials that they provided and try to log in. Great, I was able to log in and see my home page and also invoices. And I probably can add invoice, and also I can sign out. Now try to go to dashboard page directly, and as you can see, I was redirected to my login page, and I need to provide email and password, so I cannot access my invoices without logging in. Okay, we tried it, and now let's go to the next chapter. It's about adding metadata. Chapter 16, adding metadata. You can read what is metadata and why is metadata important and types of metadata. And I'm going to add some metadata, and for that I'm going to open a layout file inside app. It would be main layout file for our application. Okay, now we can import metadata from Next and provide some metadata. And let me show you. As you can see, currently we have localhost dashboard title, and as you can see, we change title here to Acme dashboard and also add some description. And I'm going to save it, and let's check our title. And as you can see, we have Acme dashboard. Also, you can change title for specific pages, and they described here as you can do it, and also you can practice to change metadata for different pages. And I'm going to move on to the next chapter. And as you can see, we've finished our project. That's all that I have for this tutorial. Subscribe to my Dev Web App channel. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.